Welcome, everyone, to It Tastes Different Gaming Appetizers. And tonight, we're going to talk about Unity. Unity wants to be better and different, just like Nuprin, little, yellow, different, right? The company's boss says that with the launch of Unity 6, we fundamentally want to be different and a better company. Yeah, I imagine you do after losing a shit ton of money and most of your staff, right? So Unity 6 has launched. It launched on October 17th. And they hope that it will put what's been a disastrous year, a little over a year, behind them. If you don't know about all of this, Unity has had a really, really bad time. You know, they changed their fee structure, which was very bad for them. It was very, very horrible for developers. What used to be a cost-effective, if not, free engine for some people, turned out to be a very expensive engine, and ultimately not free, not as free as what it used to be, right? So with that fallout from that debacle, a lot of companies left Unity, and John, what is his name, Riccatello, left the company. They also, back in 2023, they lost like 1,100. They cut 1,100 staff. I shouldn't say lost because they terminated them. They also terminated some deal with Peter Jackson's FX company, which gave them $2 billion in revenue. So they suffered a crap ton of money from that. In this year, in this calendar year, 2024, they cut off another 25% of their workforce, which is 1,800 more jobs. And a lot of developers, specifically like Slay the Spire, completely walked away from the Unity engine with their sequel that's coming out and went to like Godot for their engine. So it's just, Unity has made bad decision after bad decision. I think ultimately we all understand that the straw that broke the camel's back was their fee restructure change that happened. It was really horrible. A lot of people were left owing them money that weren't owing them money before because they met a threshold that wasn't there before. So fee structure ultimately changed, which hurt them. So now Unity has to basically build trust, right? And they're hoping with Unity 6 and a promise to make things better that they'll bring back the developers. Their fee structure is their fee structure is ultimately still the same, right? Nothing has changed that I'm aware of that they changed their fee structure. What keeps Unity afloat is that I think that they have the lion's share of the market for mobile games, right? I think in the article they listed 70%. Yeah, 70% of the top mobile games in the world are built on Unity. And 1.5 billion devices run Unity runtime. So they're not going anywhere, but they suffered a catastrophe, a really bad year, right? I don't know. As bad as they did developers and just drop this out in front of everybody, it's horrible, right? And I don't believe that people. What have they done to garner trust between themselves and people that want to develop games on their platform? They didn't change their fee structure, right? I've not heard that they changed their fee structure, and nothing in the article states that the fee structure has changed with Unity 6. Really, from what I could find out was, the what's new in Unity 6 infograph that I could find was, they have improved rendering capabilities with tools like GPU resident drawer and GPU occlusions culling. They have multiplayer center that offers curated list of multiplayer tools. Memory limits for web projects increased from 2 gigs to 4 gigs with Unity 6. New tools for configure builds for multiple platforms. Devs will be able to create custom build profiles. They have adapted probe volumes, which is a feature that automates probe placement, enabling faster iteration and indirect diffuse lighting in games. Like I said, most of these features and improvements can be seen in a tech demo called Time Ghost demo that they released. So if you want to check out that Time Ghost demo, you could kind of see them showing off the Unity 6 engine. So I don't know. I don't think that they've garnered enough to make up what they've lost, but they're not going anywhere, right? I mean, to me, they pulled a dirty move with their fee structure change, because it was like, here's the structure change that's going into effect soon. It wasn't like next year, right? I mean, it may have been next year, but it was an announcement like a month or two before the end of the year. I can't remember exactly when the announcement was, but I remember that it was pretty close to, when they are saying, hey, we're changing our fee structure. Because what did I mean, and they did, right? They did walk back some of those changes at the time of the announcement when the huge blowback happened, but it wasn't enough, right? They angered developers, and developers were afraid that they were going to, they walked back some of those now at the time of the announcement, I should say, but they're going to re-implement them slowly. Developers were gun shy now, so they were going to go find an engine that they were for sure not going to worry about charging them thousands, if not, for a game that barely made. I think we chatted about this in one of our earlier segments. There was some people out there claiming that, hey, I'm getting charged more than I made just because the number of downloads, right? Because one of those things where you would hit a fee structure with when you hit a certain number of downloads, even though you may be selling your game for $1 or $5, you weren't able to cover their fee structure, right? So, and so yeah, so here was Unity Plus. You have to pay Unity 20 cents per install once your game passes 200,000 in revenue over the last 12 months, or 200,000 life to date installs. So if you charge 99 cents for your game, or maybe you made monetization in your game another way, like through in-game purchases and stuff. As soon as you hit that $200,000 lifetime installs, then you had to start paying them 20 cents per install. So, you may not be making a whole lot. So, and one of the things was, somebody had mentioned that, they owed Unity $560,000 because they had 2.8 million installs, and they were claiming that was $360,000 more than they made in their game. So, bad decisions all around for Unity. And so they've scared away game developers, and game developers don't really, some of them, especially the lower end market games that may get a lot of downloads, but don't make a lot of money, are gun shy. And I would be too. So to me, Unity's got a long ways to go before they regain public trust. But at the same time, are how are they going to make up public trust without changing their fee structure? In my opinion, they're going to have to go after the big dogs who want the engine, who don't want to develop their own engine to use their engine, who expect that their product's going to make hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. So I don't know. I don't think that Unity's done anything to rebuild faith or trust in their company. But what do you think, Nate? What do you think about Unity? Unity 6? Did you check out the tech demo? And do you think that they've gained the trust back of developers, or what they might need to do to regain that trust?
Well, I did find that they are making some changes to the pricing structure. So they are getting rid of their runtime fee. Unity Personal, which was announced last year, they just got rid of the runtime feature here in September. So it was just recently. It's been about a year since that announcement, right? They put it in place, and it took them about a year to get rid of it. So Unity Personal, they announced that will remain free, and they're doubling the current revenue and funding ceiling from 100,000 to 200,000. Means more can use Unity at no cost. The Made with Unity splash screen will become optional for Unity Personal games, such when Unity 6 launches. But Unity Pro and Enterprise, they are going up in subscription price increases. So Unity Pro is going up by 8%, and Unity Enterprise is going up by 25% subscription price increase.
25%? What kind of joke is that? 25%. That's insane.
They'll be required. So Enterprise is required for customers with more than 25 million of total annual revenue and funding. A minimum subscription requirement may also apply. And then, of course, Pro is for customers required for customers with more than 200,000 total annual revenue and funding.
So essentially, they're like our biggest customers. We're going to scare them off by giving them a 25% increase.
Yeah.
Great way to keep the top dogs in your pool of developers.
I mean, the thing about Unity is like Unity was kind of, it was, and the way I always looked at it, right? And I'm not a developer, so I can't say what other developers thought, but the way I thought of Unity was like it was the poor man's development kit, right? It was for a way for those out there who wanted to develop to be able to utilize an engine that was good, right? Because Unity, I mean, it still is, but Unity was a good engine and it was a free engine that you could, if your game made a certain amount of money, yeah, they did take just like Unreal does and all the other engines, but you had to hit a certain threshold, but you had all the tools and resources there to really make something yours and develop something, which was, it was an easier tool. And I think it still is an easier tool to use than Unreal because Unreal, while it's a great engine, I've heard, is complicated to develop on compared to, something like Unity, which is a lot easier to develop on. So, from what I've heard, right, and read online, again, I'm not a developer, so I don't know. But in putting in those fees, the runtime fees, the download fees, like you were talking about, really scared off the little people, right? The people that initially, I feel like, probably started to make your engine popular. Yeah, you have some big developers coming in, um, that have made games with Unity. But I doubt it started that way, right? It was probably a lot of small developers that started out and kind of got the word out there, and then that attracted the bigger fish, right? In a sense, to come and look at this engine, right? And I'm sure some Unity probably did some things to attract the bigger fish as well, but um, I don't know. It might get some people coming back to them, but I mean, ultimately, I feel like Unity is probably going to go back to that pricing model. I think that's their ultimate goal. I think what the problem was at the time is they took the rip the band-aid approach with it, and that scared people off, right? So I feel like what they're going to do is they're going to revert things, and then they're slowly over time going to go back to that where they were. It may not be as intrusive as it was, but they're going to slowly start to go back to their ways, right? Um, it's unfortunate, and I don't know what Unity should do. I mean, I know what the thing I hate is I hate when corporations and companies take the goodwill of consumers out there and take advantage of it. And I feel like when a company does that, such as what Unity did with the runtime fees and things like that, where they changed up the model because of greed more than anything, right? Um, they should people should just leave them in droves, and they should be dismantled. And sorry for all the people that work there. I understand that, but I mean they've already went through and fired half of you anyway. But it's like the company, the engine itself either sold off or Unity itself to, and that doesn't just go for Unity, that goes for any corporation that tries to do that, which is like every corporation. So but I mean, like, we should have better standards for there should be better standards, I should say, for corporations out there, because it's not just Unity. There's a lot of corporations out there, especially in the gaming sphere, that take advantage of their consumer base. And as a consumer base, we should really be, you know like I said, without the consumers, there is no company. There's no Unity, right? Without the people utilizing their tools, they aren't anything. So it's like your customers is what makes you you. And if you piss those people off or do bad by them, then they should abandon you, right? As a corporation, they have no uh, loyalty to you. You're not anything to them, right? I mean, you shouldn't be. That's why people shouldn't have any loyalty to any sort of corporation out there. I'll tell you a short story for everyone out there. I just switched off of T-Mobile to Verizon because I went on with my girlfriend's account so we could save some money, just bundle our phone together. And I called Verizon. They're like, "Well, you've been with us for 15 years. What can we do to keep you?" And I'm like, "Nothing. Like, I'm moving off because I want to save money." They're like, "Well, we can save you money." I'm like, "That's fine. I understand you can, but I'm not. I'm leaving." And it's just like the whole point is, yeah, you've been with us for 15 years. Who gives a crap? So I've been with you for 15 years. What does that mean? Are you going to give me something? Do I get a cookie in the mail? I don't get anything. When you get, every phone company out there, when they run promotions, they don't give it to the people that have been there for 15 years. They give it to the people that are not a part of their, don't have their service. So it's like, yeah, I don't get crap for being there for 15 years. I don't get a discount. I don't get a 15-year, balloon or something like that. Like, I don't get nothing, right? Just a guilt trip that I've been with them for 15 years and I shouldn't leave them, right? And that's it, right? That's all that companies provide you. So
You do
not to
get
say that,
something for being with them 15 years. Years and years of bill creep.
yeah, yes, yeah, that. But it's like, ultimately what I'm saying is you don't owe a company anything. You don't think you do, right? So if a company or corporation does wrong, is there a chance that they could revert things with Unity and make things better and bring developers back and keep a positive uh, development kit with Unity? Sure. And if people, developers are going to do what they're going to do. So if they want to go that route, then fine. But, you know, this was for Unity's first big flub. If they flub again, you know, I mean, how the saying goes, fool me once, fool me twice. The fooler gets fooled. You don't fool me. Or what is it? I don't remember. It was whatever George Bush said. That one line. I was trying to do that one. I can't remember what it was now.
I'll find out.
I don't know.
All I know is that Unity is no longer considered I would say Unity is looking at Unity's price structure and everything. Unity is no longer be considered the budget friendly version, right? Because if you look, Unity's free plan, what they call personal, like you said, is only available to customers that make less than 200,000 in revenue funding. And if you go to like Unreal Engine, their free plan is good until you make $1 million. And then it's like, okay, now you need to move to our royalty based one. And so, and Unity has three plans: personal, pro, and enterprise. And I imagine if you're so big, you get even custom pricing, right? But if you make what is it, 200, if you make 200,000 up to 25 million in revenue, you have to do their pro plan, which is going up to $2,200 a year, or roughly $200 per month per seat, and you pay monthly, right? So you prepay yearly. You can pay monthly. So because it's $2,200 per year per seat if you pay it outright. If not, it's $200 a month, which is like you save a free month, right? Because $2,400. Is that right? Yeah, $2,400. And then enterprise, you get some special stuff. But if you go over to Unreal, they have three. They have free, royalty based, and seat based. And royalty based, is all lifetime gross revenue above 1 million is directly attributed to the product. And you'll be subject to a 5% royalty. Cool. That's really it. That's that plan. If you want the seat-based license, which basically, if you start making over $1 million, it's $1,850 per seat per year. And if you want more than 10 seats, they recommend you call to get custom pricing. So they're willing to cut you a deal. Now I understand, as Nick mentioned, right? Unity versus Unreal head to head. Unreal uses C++, which is not as easy as Unity's C#. C# is an easier to pick up language, from my understanding. I don't program. I'm not a programmer. So take what I say with a grain of salt on programming. But from reading all the information out there when I was investigating Unity versus Unreal, was that's really the biggest takeaway for this, is that C# for development is a little bit easier of a language, simplified language than C++, right? But from what I understand, Unreal, obviously we've all seen it, Unreal has the better graphics. Unity is not bad, but it's not Unreal. It's not theirs. So, and Unity is a lot more, and I would almost say animation and 2D type graphics in games. Where Unreal is just, let's just put it's photorealistic VFX for sure. That. So, and it has like particle simulations in their engine and all kinds of stuff. So, it is what it is. Are you willing to take the time to learn C++, which I understand is harder to master, or the more beginner friendly, if you're new, C#, and then you just pay more? You have that front end hump that you're going to hit is going to be cheap, is going to be lower. So $200,000, it's free. But if you make over $200,000, you're going to have to start going to their pro plan. So you go from personal to pro plan, and then, it's, to me, Unity is no longer the cheaper of the engines at that cost. And it sounds like even at the enterprise level, Unreal is probably still a better deal. If you're bidding enterprise level pricing, you probably have C++ developers on staff. So you're probably not, then what's the benefit of the Unity engine at that point? I would almost say their fee structure doesn't quite seem as developer friendly. Because you go, I'm trying to find the information. That's the problem. What, am I paying Unreal a royalty anywhere? Because I can't find anything that says that you owe royalties. All I can find is that you're paying for the engine code and runtime will be licensed to the third party and end users. So that's what I'm trying to find out as a pricing structure. I could see the seat-based license to use the seat-based developing tool for Unreal Engine, their realty capture and twin motion stuff. But I'm like, I really want to see additional costs, and maybe they don't want to put that out there. But, I don't know. Seems a little sketchy to me. It's expensive to make a game one way or the other. So if you have less development skills, you're probably, and you're not sure your game's going to sell a lot, you're probably still favoring towards Unity. If you got the developer skills and you got the C++ knowledge, then it sounds like Unreal might be the choice for you, and Unity is the C#. So all of that stuff has to go into your decision making. But I feel that, I don't know, 25% increase to their top tier developers seems like a stupid move, right? I mean, it's like, you really don't want us to develop our game, our AAA game, or our multi-million-dollar revenue game on your solution, right? If I can go from paying $2,200 a year to paying $1,850, and I have 100 seat licenses, that's a lot of money I'm going to save by going away from your engine. Especially if I got to be at enterprise level. I probably have a lot of C++ developers, or at least I can afford to hire C++ developers.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
And then I was looking at the Godot. They're an open source engine.
Unreal is also open source.
Oh, nice. This one's completely free though. Right. Godot, you don't have to pay anything to develop or to release your game.
You just have to advertise, give them a splash page. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Put them in the credits, basically. That's what it said.
I wonder how they make their money.
It looks like outside funding, just people willing to Patreon, sponsors, people willing to give money.
Yeah, but Unreal is open source and Unity is not open source. You do get access to the source code of Unity if you're a pro member, I think I saw, or higher, or maybe enterprise. I think you get, enterprise level, you get access to the Unity source code. So, open source, that was the buzzword a few years ago. It probably still is, right? All the cloud native development is all open, is a lot of open source. Even Microsoft and Apple and Google and all them donate software to open source and the Cloud Native Foundation and all that stuff. So, I don't know. I don't think Unity's done enough to entice people to come back, especially once you start making money. You're probably like, nah, Unity's not for me. At least that's the way it seems to me, especially with a 25% increase to their membership or their seat licenses. So I don't know. You got anything else to say, Nick? Do you think that they have Have they cauterized the wound?
I don't think so. Not yet. We'll see if developers start flocking back, but I just highly doubt it.
Yeah. Yeah, they walk back a lot of the stuff to the personal level, right? But to me, it's to the personal level, revenue is still too low. They've got the bar too low for personal level revenue. It needs to probably be $1 million. Once you make $1 million, you probably then need to move on to a pro level license, I would say. But that's just my opinion. I have never made a game. Wanted to make a game, but I'm not smart enough to make a game, so I don't have the skill set.
Me neither.
So, all right. Well, let us know what you think down in the comments. Have you ever made a game? Have you used the Unity engine or the Unreal engine? We'd like to hear what you have to say about your experience with them. Was it a good experience on either or? Did you use personal or free, or did you have to go to the pro plan? What was it like? Let us know down in the comments. And we've reached the end of this episode. Smack talking Unity and talking about game engines. Let us know what you think. And if you're not subscribed, why not help us out? We're open source too. We're free. So, help us out, hit that subscribe button so we can keep talking smack about video games and video game related topics. And we hope you enjoyed this episode and hope to catch you in the next one.